missed you guys the first Sunday of December, our second week in our 5-week Advent series leading up to the Christmas Eve celebration that we're going to have, the candlelight service on Christmas Eve at 6 o'clock. But know that Michelle and I are healthy and well here in Florida. So to say 2021 has been a year of challenges for our family and for us as a people would probably be an understatement. But for us personally, we prepared a home to sell, we sold it, we bought a home, we moved into it, and while we were moving into it and living in it these past 6 months, we've been remodeling it as we go. Even trying to buy the home had its own challenges. The appraisers in the city were moving slow and not getting information to each other. We almost thought for a moment we were going to be homeless for a couple days. We faced some sickness and some operations with my mom. Our adult son moved out. I lost a friend at work, and a lot of friends there at work are dealing with that loss and how that played out. 2021, the year that getting building materials was hard to do, and then when you could get it, the prices shot up so exponentially you thought, I'm never going to be able to recover from this. A couple times there was some fears of potentially losing our job because of mandates or things that maybe the city or the government was doing that really have made us nervous or worried about what the future might hold. And then we planted the Gathering KC Church into a building in Edwardsville, Bonner Springs, Kansas, knowing that on our own, we probably are going to have a tough time making this happen. So how did we make it this far into 2021? Well, it's been faith. We've learned to trust God and His plan more and more. God told us to do this thing, and we're going to trust Him to see it through to completion. He didn't foreshadow all the ups and downs, didn't tell us how we would have friends come and go, how getting into a building would be tricky and dealing with a landlord would be a new experience that we hadn't done commercially. He didn't give us all that ahead of time. He didn't promise that it would be rainbows, unicorns, and sunshine all the time. But He did say, go do this. And so we're being faithful in that call. And a side note, I'm really having a blast doing this with you guys. So in this 5-week journey to Christmas, where we're going to have this candlelight celebration on Christmas Eve, we're going to look at faith this week. The first week we discussed hope, not a belief that we hope the return of Jesus will come, but an expectant hope that we know He will come again. Just as the first coming of Jesus was prophesied in the Old Testament that had the people of God relying on faith that He would do this, so we now live by faith, knowing that He will return again. Think about the story of Jesus. An angel comes to Mary and says, hey there, kiddo, because she was a teenager, right? You're going to carry the Son of God. So now you and Joseph, your betrothed, get your stuff together because this is going to happen. Have some faith. So the angel appears to Joseph and is like, hey, buddy, your fiance, Mary, your betrothed, yeah, so she's pregnant. No, I know. You didn't do it. But this seed has been planted there by God because this is the Messiah, the one you've been waiting for. So now comes the time they have to go to Bethlehem, pregnant with the Messiah, knowing that they cannot do any of this on their own. And then they get there to Bethlehem, and guess what? There's no room. But the Messiah is to be born in Bethlehem. We know this from the prophet Micah, who's foreshadowed this. And I have to wonder at this point if Mary, like in my marriage with Michelle, she says, hey, Joseph, we're going to be okay. God's got this. And then this innkeeper says, well, I can offer you some space in the manger. Kick a couple sheep and maybe some chickens out of the way and make a place to lay down and go to bed. And that's where the Messiah is ultimately born. And the shepherds now, they're out on the hillside tending sheep, and an angel tells them, go to Bethlehem where the Messiah is born. Bethlehem? Are you for real? Nothing glorious or big happens in Bethlehem. Might as well be Edwardsville, Kansas. The three wise men who are supposed to report the birth of the Messiah to Herod, they get the same visit, and they're told the same thing about the coming Messiah. And they put together their expensive gifts and they go. And all of these stories revolve around their faith to trust God to do this thing that he has called them to do. And it doesn't make sense at the time why the Messiah would be born in such a tiny, lackluster town. Imagine their surprise when they learned that even more so, the Messiah was born in a barn. But it was the faith in God to do this work that brought all these things together and created this lowly, seemingly simple entrance of the King of Kings, the one who will bring in the new heaven and the new earth when he returns again. Sometimes life has challenges that are hard to navigate. We can't see how any of this is going to work out to God's glory, but we remember the humble beginnings of the King of Kings, of the Messiah Jesus. It all started with faith. And so the second Advent candle we light in this series is the faith candle, and is often called the Bethlehem's candle, where Micah had foretold that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem, the birthplace of King David. This candle reminds us of the journey of Joseph and Mary to Bethlehem. Be blessed. We love you guys. We're going to see you soon. Merry Christmas.